Here we go. There's a siren right there.
I know there's one somewhere here.
You missed?
Yeah.
Oop, there he is.
From bizarre aquatic insects to big old crocodilians, South Louisiana's wetlands are home to a crazy amount of wildlife. Since we're in the middle of our winter rainy season, I have a short period of time to get a very elusive species that is sometimes referred to as two-legged eel. Now what I'm looking for is almost like a speckled amphibian. It's very small. Now whenever it rains heavily is the only time of year that I'm going to see these guys. Now whenever I'm scoop netting, it's very important that I know what I'm doing. So whenever I'm scooping, I'm taking my net, I'm going down to the bottom, and I'm like scraping the dirt up with me. I'm getting everything up. So see how a lot of stuff came up right there? And look, that's just one little scoop. And you can see minnows, clams, bronze frog tadpoles, pretty much everything. And then when we're done with that, what we do is we flip our net, everything goes back, we wash it, we flip it back. A little turtle.
Oh, two turtles.
Yeah. Got a couple little critters here. Are you a mud or a musk? That is definitely musks. Now these are commonly referred to as stink pots or common musk turtles. These are actually, as their name suggests, a very common species and a very musky species. They don't smell too good. And they've got little stripes on their face. That's one of the easy ways to identify these guys. One of the other species that lives back here is the eastern mud turtle. Now these are actually, in this region, kind of a cold weather turtle. So I do expect to see a lot of these in the winter time and early springtime. They are active all times of the year, but this is when I particularly see a lot of them. Now I only saw one when I scooped. I only saw this smaller one. So I guess the bigger one was right underneath there. And I would say that this is a larger female and that this is a little male. So really cool turtles, definitely not what we're after, but another little nighttime find that you can commonly see in ditches, swamps, and pretty much any little aquatic area. So we'll go ahead and put these guys back, keep looking for more. That is awesome. Little common musks. All right, see you little algae eaters. What you get? Turtles are always great, but the animal that I want to see tonight is a lesser siren, an elusive aquatic salamander species that I've always had a hard time finding. To find these guys, you've got to scoop. And scoop, and just keep scooping. After working my way down the canal a while, I spotted exactly what I was hoping to see.
Here we go. There's a siren right there. Oh, what? Where'd he go?
I know there's one somewhere here.
You missed?
Yeah. Now essentially what happens is you see something, it gets away, you have to scoop every inch of what you see. There is also the chance that he's in a burrow and I never see him again. There is also the chance that I get him. When you miss a siren the first time, it can mean you blew it entirely. Muddied water on top of them being a burrow-dwelling species, he could be absolutely gone. I worked the area for a good bit, scooping as much as I could. And I figured if he didn't get into a burrow, I would have a good chance of finding him.
Oop, there he is. Yes! Got him. Nice. He is slopped out, but there we go. That is muddy. That is a siren.
Well guys, here we go. This was our major target for the night. And one of my favorite things to see out here in the wintertime, this, he's slimy, is a lesser siren. Now this isn't a species that I want to be grabbing or putting a lot of pressure on really in any way. And these are actually an aquatic species. You'll see underwater these guys have gill frills, but they can actually gulp and breathe air. So he's okay to be out of the water for a little while here. But in between shots and in between me talking, I'm going to be going and wetting him and dunking him and keeping him very, very moist and very good for this segment. 8 or 10 inches long, and this is about average size for an adult lesser siren. These guys don't get very big like the amphibians. Those guys get like 3 feet long. Now greater sirens, another species of siren that live east of here, probably get about 1.5 feet and much thicker. They get like 3 times as wide around. So they are just beastly. So this is, I would say, a decent sized lesser siren. Now unlike amphibians, these guys only have front feet. They have 2 little front feet and they don't have any back feet. So if you see an aquatic salamander and it has back feet, that's most likely an Amphiuma and not a siren. Now another thing that's different about sirens is they have a paddle tail. Amphiomas just kind of have a snake tail. It just kind of narrows down to the end of their body, whereas these guys have a paddle more like a fish. It's a flattened, swimming tail, and they're really good at getting through grasses and all this other little stuff much quicker and much more efficiently than an Amphiuma. Now unlike Amphiomas, these guys actually can breathe water. That's why they've got those gill frills there, but they can breathe both. Amphiomas in particular just breathe through their skin and gulp air, whereas these guys actually can breathe water, which is really cool. And you're getting away from me. Now I have got to have the net under this thing because they will escape into this grass very easily. He will just burrow straight down and vanish on me. That has actually happened to me before. We don't often see these guys in this region of the United States, and the reason for that is actually due to hurricanes. Whenever we get salt water that floods into areas like this, sirens will go deeper underground because many of them will actually die. So it takes a while for the populations to recover from salt water entering an area. But in places that are purely fresh and they don't have any of that issue, these guys survive perfectly fine. Now they particularly eat little bugs, little crustaceans, anything like that. They will gulp at a little fish, but they're not nearly as predatory as an Amphiuma. And I also don't have to worry about this species biting me like an Amphiuma. An Amphiuma has a really strong bite, whereas sirens don't really typically bite. Besides not having back feet and having a very long body, besides those two things, they are a very typical salamander species, but they are just a strange little swamp critter. You'll see them in virtually any wetland area where they're present, but they're not present at all. You never know where they're going to be really. Sometimes they're in a pond, sometimes they're in a river, and sometimes they're just not. We really don't know a lot about this species because they are very secretive. Wow, what a strange and wonderful little find. It has been a long time since I've seen one of these salamanders, so I'm really glad we're getting to show you one. If you guys enjoyed seeing this salamander, make sure to go check out the time that we were catching Gulf Coast mud puppies in a river. One of my favorite videos there, and we will see you guys next time. All right, time to let this little guy back into his ditch. See you, bud.